Hello.
She's not speaking.
Good afternoon. Thanks for your patience, everyone. We were just waiting another minute for a few more folks to jump on here with us, but I think we'll go ahead and get started. So, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining BOSS on today's webinar. So, we're going to take a look at service catalog. It's the modern way of delivering IT services. So, I am Nathan Hansard, and with the help of, I guess, much more capable folks than myself, we're going to attempt to hopefully bring you all some useful information. I am privileged today to be joined by one of our esteemed clients, Sharonda Hawkins with the City of Albany, and the man, the myth, the legend, our Director of Product Engineering, Vishu Nayagam. All right, so what we're going to cover today. The goal today is really just to share some characteristics and benefits of a modern service catalog that you all can use as a guideline, or if I may be so bold, the standard for delivering IT service requests. And I promise that you won't have to look at PowerPoint or listen to me talk the rest of the presentation. So there's nothing better than actually seeing and hearing how your colleagues have implemented an application and these best practices. So Sharonda will be giving us a peek into her live environment there at the City of Albany. Of course, if everyone is on their best behavior, we will answer your questions. And I want to remind everybody to stay tuned for details on an upcoming webinar, and we will be doing our registration giveaway at the end as well. All right, so just a couple of housekeeping notes. Everyone should be muted during the webinar. So if you have questions, please feel free to ask questions. You don't have to even wait to the end. We will wait to the end to answer them, but submit those questions via the questions window during the webinar. And here in just a moment, I'm going to engage you with a polling question. So if you'd be so kind as to answer that. The webinar is being recorded and will be available on our website for you to share with family and friends. And then, of course, we'll send out a survey. So our goal is for these to be educational and informative. And we can only get better if we know what was helpful and what you want to see. So just don't tell us what you didn't like. We only want to know what you want to see more of. All right, so who are we? Quickly here, who in the world is BOSS? In short, I would say that we're a company that prides ourselves on delivering, as you see there, brilliantly simple software solutions. And we've been providing these solutions to clients really across a spectrum of industries, but just like Sharonda with the City of Albany there, we work with several government organizations really from coast to coast. Which really should just give you all some confidence that security, value, of course, treating folks right is our top priority. And that's really just been the direct result of our success over these last 20 years because we've chosen to make you the customer king. Okay, so now that you know a little bit about us, if you would be so kind, please tell us something about yourself. And you should have a poll coming up there that you're able to answer. So if you'll just take a minute. Does your organization currently have a working service catalog deployed? All right. So thanks everybody for participating. Looks like we've still got a couple of more answers coming in there. Quite the response to the webinar today. So it looks like that we have quite a few folks that do not. About a third of you do not currently have a working service catalog deployed. You've got a few folks that are working on it. So hopefully this will be helpful for you all. So I appreciate your feedback there. All right. So characteristics and benefits of a modern service catalog. I've just got a couple more slides and then we're going to jump over into some live demonstration. Today's theme, if you will, is simple. So simple user experience. Anytime you've got a simple user experience where you've got a clean, simple to use interface, that's going to increase customer satisfaction. So again, for those that are using this as a guideline, hey, keep it simple and easy. Who doesn't like to hear we love IT? When you've got a simple delivery experience, right? Want to be able to capture and deliver accurate information the first time, cut down on that back and forth, right? Anytime you can have easy configuration, no coding, that's always a plus. That's going to increase your IT satisfaction as well. And then of course, in all that, you're just trying to standardize the intake process. So when you standardize, you improve efficiency. And of course, we know when you save time, time is money. And that's more money for IT toys. All right, so let's actually take a look at a modern service catalog. So this is by no means, just to give you a heads up here, this is by no means comprehensive, but it will provide you all a foundation, I think, for when we actually jump over and use Sharonda's production environment. So for today's walkthrough, I'm actually going to wear a couple of hats, and I'm just going to briefly show you how easy it is for a user, first of all, to search for a particular service, fill out the required information, and then submit the request, and then even keep an eye on the status of their request. So then what I'll do is we'll jump over as an administrator and we'll look at how easy it is to actually create and configure a particular service request. Again, no coding necessary. And then a few other easy configurations like permissions for who can see what. And if we have some time, maybe a routing condition with some tasks. So what you're actually looking at right now is the end user portal. So the first thing you're going to notice, just like we'd mentioned, is it's simple. We've got a clean user interface, right? But at the same time here, it's going to provide all of the tools and the services that are available to me. So right up here, I've got a nice easy back button that will keep me from having to go back and forth in my browser. I've also got a nice easy refresh button. So something else to note here is this is just my demo environment, and I'm set up as an administrator so that I have the ability to really show anything to anyone at any given time. But just know that users wouldn't normally have access to my approvals here. And that's all easily configured in the settings. But of course, a user should be able to check on the status of any submitted request, be able to also find an answer to any questions I might have in the knowledge base. And of course, the reason we're all here, the service catalog. So let's dive in to an example of service catalog. So what you're looking at here is really, if you will, I guess a collection of configurable forms that can be designed and managed for any type of approved service, if you will. So continuing here with the simple theme, if you will. As a user, I'm greeted with this clean interface, and at a glance, I can see the various service categories. I can see exactly how many service requests there are in each of my available categories. And of course, over here on the right, who doesn't love good old paint by the numbers, if you will? All of the available service requests are in alphabetical order. There's a nice friendly icon that is accurately depicting the service I'm in need of. And again, so for example, HR might need access here to the new hire service request, but not everyone would have permissions to see that or the privileges. So also another thing to point out here is that in my demo environment, I just have a few examples to choose from, but in a practical production environment, you would have a lot more choices. So a user may not want to scroll through all of these. So the search capability for a good service catalog is important. So I could come here maybe and search for any service request that had to do with something new. And again, we've got maybe a new laptop, new server, new software access. Searching is pretty powerful. And so of course here as well, we've got the very practical examples of a service request types, like for example, new laptop and new software. But today, I thought we would just quickly take a look at a service request that would relate, that we could all relate to, food. So for today, we're just going to imagine that I'm an employee, if you will, of an awesome company that has given me the ability to request a new vending machine food item. So I might want to come here to my search and actually search for vending. And here is my vending machine food and beverage request form. So let's go ahead and submit a request. So again, still from the end user perspective here, I've got my vending machine food and beverage request form. Right away, you'll see that I've got a description about this service request that I might want to make. So there's just a couple things I want to point out here, is that the description field allows you a couple of things. One, from an administrative standpoint, you could include descriptive words, obviously, about the service. That's going to help the user when they're searching for a particular service. But also, as you've noticed here, we can just really spell out in black and white any instructions you might have for the end user as they're filling out the form. So you can see here that this is for food and beverage request only, no refunds. Historically, we know that when it comes to getting all the information necessary to fulfill a service request, capturing all the information the first time, and it can be difficult. So of course, you'll see here with the asterisks, you have the ability to make fields required, something you definitely want to keep in mind as you are looking for the right service catalog for your organization. Also, you'll see it's just clean and simple. So let's just go ahead and I'm just going to fill this out and submit this. And then what I'll do is I'll jump over as the administrator and we'll see how easy it would be to actually create this form and to configure it. And then hopefully have a chance to look at a brief routing rule. And then we'll turn it over to Sharonda to take a look at her live environment. So I might come in here and then I've just got easy drop down selected here to say maybe this is going to be well, we'll just go with food today. And so we all relate to food. And I've got a drop down here to choose for my food and beverage options. We'll go with some good old prime rib. Wouldn't that be great? Have this as an option. And then maybe we want to require the user to explain why this request should be approved. Maybe I'm trying to lose weight for a high school reunion coming up. And when do we need it by? Well, I need it as soon as possible. Wait a week before the high school reunion to try and lose weight, right? And that's pretty simple. From there, I would just submit my request. And what's going to happen, you'll see here, is it's going to take me to a nice landing page, lets me know, gives me actually a service request number, and lets me know that that service request has been created. So I'm not going to take a look at that ticket. What I want to do now, we'll come back to that, is just jump over real quick and put on my admin hat, if you will, for a minute and show you a few configurations here. All right, so what you're taking a look at now, we've just landed basically at the settings and configuration screen on the admin side. And of course, this is accessed only by administrators. And of course, any technician could be given the admin rights. This would just all depend on your internal policy and procedure. So let's go down here and I'm going to take a look at our service catalog. And of course, again, the same search features, same clean, simple user interface from the user side. We've got continued here on the admin side. Again, in my demo environment, it's pretty easy for me to scroll down to the vending machine service request form. But of course, I could do a search. I could also look by category as well. So we'll come down here and just, for time purposes, edit our existing vending machine request form. So the first thing you'll see here is that I was able, obviously, to name this request. And of course, if I had hit new, this would just give me this canvas to start off with to be able to name the service request. So pretty self-explanatory here. Enabled, this is where you would essentially publish or go live with the form once you were finished designing and configuring it. So of course, while I'm working on the form, I would maybe keep that hidden. And then once we were ready to publish it, we would enable it. I could assign it to a category. This one's simple. I've just put it in our general category, but of course you would want to have your forms in the applicable category. Choose a nice icon, again, for easy searching. And then a short description if you wanted to. And then again, remember in the description field where we were talking about, you had a couple of options. One for descriptive words that's going to make it easy for me to search on as a user. But then again, I'm spelling out my instructions. This is where we'd spell those instructions out to an end user. You can also have, this can be in rich text format. It could also maybe even contain, I don't know, links to another form or even links to another website. Visibility. So again, I mentioned permissions and rights. So this is where we would determine whether or not this service request form was going to be visible to all the users or just maybe a selected group of users. And then also we could pull from your existing Active Directory groups as well. How about approvals? Again, this is pretty self-explanatory here. So for example, earlier when I was requesting that we get in some prime rib to our vending machine, you know, I think you can have prime rib that runs upwards of $200 a pound. So we might actually want to have an approval board. Might want to run that by the expense board if for certain expense related items there. Auto assign, and I'll show you a little bit more about this in a second here. Auto assign, obviously you might want the ability to auto assign requests that come in from a certain category. And then again, also ticket type allows you to set the ticket type. This is, of course, here, it's blank to default as a service request. But of course, these forms can be used for incidents and feedback as well here. So, all right, so in a second, I'm going to come and we'll take a look at just how easy it is maybe to modify our existing form. But down here as well, if I wanted to add a task, I could add any task that would be related to this service request. So those could actually spin off to a separate team member than the main request so that everybody's working on something maybe simultaneously or condition based on the request. And I'll show you that in just a second. So real quick, again, just showing you this to sort of provide some framework for when we jump over and take a look at Sharonda's live environment. So from here, again, I do have, I could, very easy to edit any of these. So here is just with select food or beverage. You can see here is where I checked the box to make this field required. I could also choose to check a box to, if we wanted to use this ticket in routing, choose the width of the field. that I'm using. That just takes up the width of the form there. And then, of course, some easy drop down items. So maybe I'll come over and just add another drop down list, or let's do a cascading drop down list. So earlier, when my previous drop down, pretty straightforward and simple with our food items, but I think ideally in the production environment, you would want this to be a little bit more dynamic, right? So I'll just come up here and let's just say this was food options. I'm going to move through this pretty quickly here. Yep, got food options here. And of course, we would want to be able to use this ticket and routing. Let's see, we'll just make this half width on our field here. And then, so earlier we had food options like our prime rib, but we also had some options like our turkey, but there's different types of turkey, right? So we may want to give someone the option to select the type of turkey they want. Maybe they want oven roasted. Or maybe, what's our other big one here? Smoked, right? Smoked turkey. Or maybe for the salmon. Got a couple options for salmon. Could go with some good old, let's see here. Very easy to rearrange the order of these as well. Maybe we want to go with lemon butter. And maybe one other option here. We'll move along. Or we could have good old bourbon glazed. All right. It's a good thing I think everybody's eating lunch, right? Nobody's getting hungry. If you missed lunch today, I'm sorry. All right. So we'll just go ahead and apply those settings. And what I'll do is I'm going to jump back real quick as the end user just to show you what that's looked like, what that looks like. It's easy for me now to save those changes that I've made here. Let's just make sure we've saved our changes. Let's see here. What do we want to make sure this is available to all of our users, right? All right, excellent. Good indicator that I was not doing something correctly there. All right, so let's just jump back real quick here. Oh yeah, there we are. Let's jump back as an end user and take a look at our service catalog again. So we'll just refresh this, make sure all of our changes have been applied. Scroll down to my vending machine request, and now I should have my food option. So real quick, I'll just move through here quickly because I've got just a couple other things to show you. I won't fill everything out again, but we'll select food. Now I'll go back to my food options where this would have been a lot more practical. And let's say, for example, I'm going to select my salmon. And now I've got the option for either lemon butter salmon, or I've got my bourbon glaze. So we'll go ahead and select our bourbon glaze. We'll shoot off another request here. All right, and we'll jump back over and maybe take a look at a couple of routing rules here. So again, now I'm just back over. I think if everyone's following with me, I'm just back over into the admin side here. And I can easily go up and choose some routing rules for our vending request. So let's see here. Looks like we'll create a new one real quick. So this will just be, I don't know, this will be our food routing rules. We'll just say, of course, for our conditions, again, this option to match any ticket. We could match all the conditions. Match any conditions. We'll say we're going to match any conditions. So again, coming back to our example of requesting for prime rib and needing to run that by the expense board, I could say, hey, anytime I have a service request that is related to our vending machine, we're going to need to take an action here, and we're going to need to request approval from the board. We're going to need that to go by the expense board. But then also I may want to add a condition here that whenever something comes in from our food options, and our food option is either turkey or maybe salmon, that we kick off another task. Let's see, we'll add a task, and maybe that task is, oh, just for example here, with the title that would be to, I don't know, call Sally's Seafood Shop. So hopefully you're getting the idea here. Again, this wasn't to be comprehensive, but I will go down here and I'll save this just to show you what this looks like, I think, here with our completed. So let me jump back one more time. I'm going to jump back one more time here to our end user. I want to update this. I think I wanted to put my routing rule in place earlier before we actually submitted this. But so we'll go back, we'll choose food. We'll come back and choose our salmon and our bourbon glazed, and let's submit that request. So now from our landing page, let's actually take a look at that ticket. So as an end user, I'd be able to see my ticket that was submitted. Again, I didn't fill out all of the information this time, but here's where all of the information would be filled out. See, the food option is salmon, it's bourbon glaze. I've got the ability to make some comments. Then if I jump over, again, wearing my admin hat, I can actually over here, the service requests do come in as tickets. So that's what I would want to take a look at here. Go ahead and take a look at my tickets. And I can see here that on top, I've got my vending machine request that's come in. And if I come into here, again, now we can see that, hey, all of the information that I should have filled out as a user, if all of the fields had been made required, I'd been forced to. And then we can see our, again, the information we need. Also down here, remember we had signed a task. So now we can see that that task has been assigned. It's in progress. I call Sally Seafood Shop. And then, of course, any other things that we needed, time entries, the approvals that we needed, we can see those as well. All right, so thanks for hanging in there with me. I think at this point, I'm going to turn this over to Sharonda, and let's take a look at a real life example with Sharonda Hawkins. And I think what I'm going to do is go in here and unmute Sharonda. And Sharonda, I may have you muted here, so let me see. You might have the ability to unmute. You might need to go down and unmute yourself on your end.
All right, I think I have the ability. Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, thank you, Nathan. My name is Sharonda Hawkins, and as Nathan mentioned earlier, I am with the City of Albany, Georgia, and Dougherty County. And I just wanted to share a little bit of information about us. We basically have 22 IT specialists on staff, supporting 2,300 internal users. We support over 800 external telecom customers. They include residential and business customers, in which we provide fiber services to. We've been a BOSS customer, happily BOSS customer, since February of 2017. However, we went live with BOSS Desk on May 1st of this year, is when we went live with the product. One of the main reasons why we chose BOSS was the actual service catalog. In order to appreciate what we have now, you have to have a kind of picture of where we came from. And previously, we had a ticketing system called Q Alert, which was a part of our actual website with our 311 services for trash pickups and things of that nature. And IT was kind of added in to kind of so that we would have a place for our end users to report their issues. but it didn't have much functionality to it. So we had no service catalog. We didn't have any descriptors of the category items, which anyone looking into BOSS will find very useful for users inputting requests. And also the 311 Q alert ticketing system, it wasn't very user friendly, without descriptors, without the items. They only had a drop down menu. So it really, any questions that they had about what they were submitting in reference to any issues, they didn't have any information on that. So we tried to make it as descriptive as possible with the name of the category item, but sometimes they would just end up calling. However, BOSS, although Nathan just showed you another use case scenario, I was like, goodness, this is a great solution for our IT needs. So to me, it was designed for IT. However, he's just showed us that you can use it across any platform that you have. Also, the service catalog, when we took a look at the service catalog, we were able to provide descriptors for those catalog items. It was easy to customize forms with drag and drop capabilities, and the ability to copy forms built based on a standard. If you had a generic form in mind, then you can actually copy those. And also the ability to add videos and graphics to the forms was a plus sign for us. But I don't want to, I'll come back to the project, but I want to show you guys our actual catalog. This is our production portal for our end users. And basically, as we built this platform on a premise that our CIO wanted to keep us, I guess, at bay with and to keep our focal on, was that you need access to something, which if you navigate to our hardware section and our software section, if you needed access to something, or if you have a problem, if you have your hardware issues, or if you want to make a purchase, then you have the purchases. And I actually got 2 additional items here because those are services that our end users request. But also, if you go to the software area, you see you need access, you're purchasing something new, or you have an issue. So we kind of kept that premise throughout the catalog, and you can navigate easily through this. One of the common items that we have sometimes is the presentation setup. Nathan showed you the fields, and you can also just put in date fields. You can make things mandatory or required, which is what the asterisks represent. You can also get your users to go ahead and upload the files. For instance, if they have a PowerPoint, you can go ahead and get them to upload it to the system. And just to go back under the catalog settings, one of the key things that we like is that we can build these forms. We don't have to worry about someone visibility. We can enable those whenever we want someone to take a look at them. And since I showed you the presentation one, I'll go here, and you can add images to give it a nice look, and you can enable or turn it off at your discretion. The main thing that we truly love was the visibility, because in the future, we're looking at expanding this catalog to our telecom customers or our fiber customers that we support for business and residential. We can now apply a group and group them in, and they would be the only group that we can set to actually view these forms. And for businesses that have Active Directory set up, you can select the groups and pull it from your Active Directory, or you can actually input your own groups and pull it from those. For approvals, for purchases, we do require approvals. So I will show you one of those. But the manager, you have the ability to set the manager, the requester's manager approval, or if you are a company such as ours who are IT aligned and you have your problem and your change management in place, if you have approval boards or people that you want to oversee certain things, then you can actually add those approval boards in here, and it doesn't have to be with change or anything like that. But that is those are some boards you can add. But for our CIO, he may have to approve if someone comes in. If I'll go back to my service catalog, and one of the things that we have is for VPN access for external vendors. And whenever an external vendor needs access to get into any of our servers or things of that nature, you can actually add the approval for the CIO. And I'm sorry I'm jumping around here. Let me get back to that form. And so you'll see here, and I have that set up in a routing rule, as Nathan mentioned. And right here, this little, I want to call it a double arrow, intertwined arrow. But if you click edit there, then you can set the routing there. If you choose, can you use the ticket and routing? And then you can put in the back end portion of the system, if you want to, you can add it, tie that to a task or a routing rule, and it will allow you to mandate that approval for someone. So you can add those either that way, or let me go here. And I want to get you back to one of these that I have an actual approval on. Let's go here. But what I would like to show or demonstrate is that no matter where it is, you can actually request approval. And these are, as I mentioned before, in our system, we have a change control board that has to approve some things for open records. We can set the city attorney approval so that he gets the access for our open records. We previously had that, but we made a modification based on whether it's internal or external approvals. And here you can apply good names to the actual catalog items. And that is kind of basically what we love about this, is that you really have the capability to do anything that you want. I made use of a lot of the paragraph fields, and I won't save anything, but you can drag and drop. And here is where I created the headers and things of that nature. So if you wanted to basically give this a header, you can simply click into the open field and click apply. And if you want to bold it or change the fonts on the header and things of that nature, don't really like the impact, but if you want to increase the size, you have the ability to just customize this and take it and make it anything that you want. And you can move it up to the top, and it's really easy to navigate and manage, and pull it down. So you have the ease of use, and it doesn't take you hiring an extra programmer to do so. So that's basically one of the things I do. And if you have a need for speed on getting these forms created, and you have a standard form, we have several personnel forms in which HR can only see. They have visibility to see. We have the various departments there. And then here is one with an actual header that was configured. And if you decide, okay, I want to use this form, I want to keep the header, I don't want to recreate it, you can go back and you can actually go ahead and you can copy. They have a copy feature. And you have the entire form. You can give it a new name. And we'll just say catalog training here. We'll make sure this is off so our production environment doesn't see it. And you go down and you save it. And it's as simple as that. You can, and if I did want to make it visible to anyone, individuals or people within the organization have that ability to see it, but you have another form, quick 3 seconds, 5 seconds, or 10 seconds with no additional work that you have to do, and everything that you need is there. And even if you want to make a change, you don't have to recreate the headers and other things of that nature. So what I would like to do now, I do want to advise anyone potentially looking into BOSS, the project experience is superb. They come give you a checklist of items as you're getting ready to implement the product from start. Anything that you need, you can ask for a weekly call, and actually sometimes, well, with me, they actually proactively offered to call me each week to ensure that I had everything as far as the configurations were concerned. If I had that information and knew that I could actually get everything complete within my project time frame. So whatever you need or want from the staff, it was a great experience. And the tool was designed so that anyone could actually configure this product. And that's in the future. We look forward to actually adding additional fiber catalog items. We have a few telecom service items that face our internal users, because we do have some telecom services within the organization, but those front-facing customers, our external users from outside of the organization, we will be tailoring to add the capability for them. And with the visibility option, this catalog, the service catalog that we found with BOSS, will allow us to do that and expand upon our services. So Nathan, that's pretty much my experience and all that I have. If users would like to see anything additional, I am happy to show them.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Ron. And we've got a few questions that have come in. And for those that still have questions, please just continue to type those into the chat box there, and we'll try and get to all of them as we can here. But one that we do have here, Sharonda, is what was the reaction like from users as you all implemented this?
The user reaction, they're really excited. As I mentioned before, our old system did not have any descriptors, and here you see that we're able to provide them some information before they actually submit a request to go into the catalog item. They have some information on what they're getting into. So if you have an issue, you have those items. If you're trying to dispose of property or anything post our Channel 16, they were really excited about it. It's a different view. It's a user-friendly view, especially with the graphics. And we actually get to the point in the questioning. So we kind of gauge or obtain information about what we need from them, so that whenever we give them a call or to try to support the issue, we already kind of pretty much have the answer before we give them a call. Okay.
Awesome. Okay. Let's see here. what were, oh yeah, it says, what were some of the challenges you all had to overcome?
The challenges, first, I am a person that's very factual and I wanted to put so much information into it. So our CIO, he reviewed how it was set up, and I think actually um, maybe kind of I think guess 2 months into us working on the catalog and trying to figure out it didn't take us 2 months, but we had to understand the background structure of what we wanted to do. That's something that will require a little work as far as who you want, what items you want to have approvals for, who you want visibility for, and things of that nature. So, kind of ironing out and having your processes into place before you get started. That is something that will move you really quickly along. And because we are undergoing, we kind of, our CIO was new, and we were thinking of process changes and things of that matter. That was kind of our barrier, is the process change. But once we got it ironed out, this was easy to set up and lay out, and the designers made it really easy. And I'll say thank you, Vishu and the staff. Okay.
Awesome. Well, that probably answered one of the questions asking about boss support. So maybe I'll.
Yes. They're really patient. I promise you.
I wasn't gonna ask that one, but thanks for mentioning that there, Sharonda.
Mhm.
So we did have a question, and for everybody on here, we we do have a few of our existing clients that joined us today. So we did have a question about the interface and everything that you're looking at. So I just do want to make that clarify that for everyone in terms of version releases and that sort of thing. Vishu, are you able to jump in and answer that question?
Hi, this Vishu here. The version of the Bostos is the current latest version since it's a cloud, so there is always only one version. And the other question was, um, this is so much more user friendly than our version. What version is this? So as I mentioned, this is the current version, and all the customization done you have seen on the webinar is done by the end user without any of our help, just some support. You do not need any coding skills whatsoever. Everything comes in the product and you can easily customize this. Is there any other questions?
Thanks, Vishu. All right. So it looks like, I guess we'll take time for, we've got a couple more. We'll take time for one more here. We do want to make sure we get over and take time for our drawing. So one more for you, Sharonda, was,
Okay.
and you may have answered this a little bit in overcoming, I guess, the challenges, but looking for a time frame. I guess that correlates here with what Vishu was saying too. I know it was easy for you all to create. So I guess given a time frame for it to how long it took you all to create the service catalogs, what it's asking here.
It really, because actually within February to May, we actually had the catalog was actually really vast. We had a vast amount of information on here. So midway through the project, between February and May, we totally kind of scrapped what we had originally, I think in April. And then I had like a month to get this revamped and the routing rules. So it really is, once you understand what processes and procedures you're going to take as far as I don't know if you're in if everyone is in IT, but once you figure those things out for your company, then knowing the catalog items that you need is really simple. Like I mentioned before, we want it to operate on the premises of someone needing something. I need access to something. I have a problem, or I want to make a purchase. And then we kind of kept it where you had another maximum of maybe 1 to 2 items in each category that you had. So, which we made it for service features, where we couldn't couple office jack moves and things of that nature in. So, once you have those things ironed out, you pretty much, you can hit the ground rolling.
Okay.
I hope that answered. I'm not sure.
All right. So
And
all
it
right,
really is
excellent.
just drag and drop. Yeah.
Awesome. So I think you had mentioned some other things that you have in the works, Sharonda, and then also this question comes into play that we will be having a future webinar showing a specific use case, but we do have a question that asks about service catalog being used for different departments. So I think that may be along the lines of a main line of business process can be segmented for,
Yes.
for different departments to utilize this. Can you take a second on that one? And then Vishu, if you have any things to add to that, that would be great too.
Well, because of the visibility, the ability to tailor what's visible to any a specific people, and because you have the actual ability to, if you, with our case here, ours is integrated with our Active Directory. So if we wanted to have our HR department, if whatever processes they handle and they want to have certain catalog items, we can actually tailor that through the visibility to where we have an HR group and put those individuals in that group, and they would be the only ones seeing the catalog items as they log in with their Active Directory credentials onto the portal. So if we're going to offer fiber services, and that's what we're doing, we have our telecom external customer group that we are adding. Let me pull it here. If you go to service catalog, and I'll just go to telecom here. This is for our internal. However, for the visibility, anyone in this telecom customers group, if I add them in there, they are the only ones that can see that item. So when they log in with their credentials, they'll see whatever is designated for the telecom customer to actually see. And that's how we would control it. I don't know if Vishu had something to add to that, or
No, that's perfect. That's exactly how it can be done, and you explained it a lot better than I could.
So we have that group. You can actually tell, decide who you want to see those and who you don't.
Exactly. And there is one other question here. Would you be able to show some reporting options for service request? Yes. And so how our reporting is done is like, if you, Nathan, can you make me the presenter, please? Can you make me the presenter? I'll show you the reporting, how is the reporting is done. Our reporting is, okay.
Share the screen.
Yeah, I'm going to share my screen. Yep. Here is the reporting engine. So how the reporting is done is, you go to the reports and you got your ticket reports, and you have this ticket summary. So how a reporting engine is built is, We give you the summary report, and based on this summary report, you can kind of like build your own reports. With this one report, you'll be able to, we are giving you all the options here. You kind of like build all your own report. You can say, hey, give me all the ticket where the source is from user portal, agent portal, what my categories are. Then you'll be able to save those reports and give it a name, and all your saved reports will be available here, right? So all the data is available to you from service request and everything, and all our reports are drilled down, meaning you click on a particular report, drill down, and it will take you to the underlying data.
Awesome. Thanks, Vishu. All right. So I want to thank everybody again for joining us. We're going to take just a minute and do our drawing from our registration, and then also want everyone to be sure and stay tuned for an upcoming webinar. All right. We're going to go ahead and do our drawing by random number generator here. And the winner is Craig Coffey with CenturyLock, network engineer. Congratulations, Craig. So thanks again, everyone, for joining us. Stay tuned again for a future webinar. And don't forget to give us your honest feedback about the service catalog. All right.
Justin,
Thanks, everyone.
what happened at the end there?
All right. You guys, you want me to cut out or?
Thanks so much, Sharonda.
You're welcome, and thank you guys for the opportunity. You have a good day.
You too.
Hey, somebody's asking for a replay. I say,